What's going on, guys? Afflicted Gamer here, back with another Division video, and today is Friday, which means all of the vendors have reset, and I will go from place to place, DZ checkpoint to checkpoint, safe house, etc., to find the best items for sale this week in the Division. So if this video is helpful in any way, shape, or form, please go ahead and drop it a like. If you're new to the channel, then consider subscribing for more Division content, and I usually am one of the first people to get these videos out, and I do them every single week. On top of that, please follow me on Twitter at Afflicted Gamer, and the stream times for me to be live here on YouTube are at the end of the video. So let's get into it and see what the special blueprints vendor has this week. First up is a classic AK-47. Anybody that likes this assault rifle, I would go ahead and pick up this blueprint. On top of that, classic M60. Any LMG fans? There we go. We've got two half-decent blueprints for starters. No MP5. I know PS4 users were waiting for that MP5 blueprint. Not yet. Stamina mask, stamina knee pads. We have a compensator with the major attribute of stability. A mega rifle suppressor with reduced threat and headshot damage. Absolutely pick that up for sure. And finally, a performance gear mod and stamina gear mod, both power level 34. I would pick both of these up. Alright, let's go check out our exotics at the special equipment vendor this week. Cassidy 296 stagger with 145k damage. Remember, your DPS, your damage number will differ from mine depending on where your firearms number is. So commanding, determined. I'm already done looking at that. That's horrible. Alright, the Historian, Swift, Brutal, History repeats with 155% headshot damage. You could re-roll off Swift for something like Destructive, Prepared, anything of that sort, and you would have a pretty decent Historian if you're looking for one. The Centurion, if you do like to do the Liberator Centurion combo, Free Republic, let's take a look. Expert and Harmful. Harmful is good with Predator's Mark. Liberator this week, 22% enemy armor damage with Commanding, Accurate, and Talented. Oh, wow. I think I'm going to leave that behind. Don't recommend that one this week. Pecan, 13% damage to targets out of cover, self-preserved, and vicious, along with obviously Pecan. You could reroll off self-preserved if you wanted to. You'd have a pretty decent Pecan. And let's scroll through the rest. PP19, responsive, competent, hurried. 22% crit hit chance. You know what? I would, if you're looking for a decent PP19, you could use this. You could even reroll off competent for destructive, deadly, brutal if you so choose to. And you've got a nice one right there. Military AK-47, 22% enemy armor damage again with brutal, swift, and accurate. I would pick up the blueprint instead of this. Model 700 Carbon, 160% headshot damage with harmful, skilled, and elevated. You know what? Not bad. You could use this as a skill build, or you could reroll off the skill talent for something else, like Brutal, and you have a pretty decent M700 Carbon. Alright, Rehabilitated Mask, Tactician Mask. I'm going to scroll through these quickly, see if there's anything here. Reckless, not bad. Predator's Mark, Holster or Harness, not too bad. Don't see anything so far that really stands out here. But if, you know, there's a piece of gear that you absolutely need just to finish off your build, then, you know what, you can go ahead and pick something up just in the meantime. But gear drops left, right, and center in the division. I say that every week. So you know what, it's not that big of a deal. But okay, Electronics Mod 236 Electronics, that is quite low, but 3,204 skill power is not. 2 weeks in a row, 2 good Electronics mods, and here we have 4% turret damage, which is, I believe, the max. But again, these can drop in the open world, but if you do want one and you do have the Phoenix credits, you go ahead and pick that up. Let's see what else we have here. Suppressor. And yeah, you know, that's it for downstairs. Alright, moving on. Okay, if you make your way upstairs to the armory, has a few pretty decent weapons for sale this week. First up, some people still use them. First Wave Vector, 90% crit hit chance, which is middle tier, but Talented, Vicious, and Deadly are on it. You could reroll off Talented for Destructive, and you'd have a pretty decent Vector. Tactical SASG 12K with Deadly, Self-Preserved, and Vicious. Again, if you wanted to, you could get rid of Self-Preserved. However, it is a very helpful PvE talent. On top of that, there's the 342% stagger and 99.5k base damage. Hunting M44, 160% headshot damage with Harmful, Unforgiving, and Prepared. You could leave this as is or reroll something else out of this to put Brutal on it if you so choose to. And that is it for upstairs. At the base of operations, Dark Zone Gear Vendor, he does have a prototype performance mod for sticky bomb damage at a max roll of 4%. So anybody that is still running stickies, go ahead and pick this up if you need it. And yes, this is my character that I leveled up just for the vendor reset, so I have no DZ funds. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, at the gear vendor in the base of operations, by far these are not the greatest, but if you are desperate, here is a pair of Savage Gloves with LMG damage, crit hit damage, and enemy armor damage. 1166 electronics. So if you like to use LMGs, you could reroll the 1166 electronics either to a higher number or into a different slot and use these in PvE, and they would be half decent, especially if you're running, you know, the Pecan, the Hungry Hog, the Infantry MG5, anything of that sort. You could make use out of these gloves. If you make your way over to Camp Hudson, there are two items for sale here. First up, at the gear vendor, he has a pretty decent Inventive backpack with health as a major attribute and ammo capacity as a minor. 1220 electronics, so you could either bump up the health number, leave electronics where it is, or leave the health number where it is and move over the electronics if you wanted to. Either way, pretty good Inventive backpack. Actually might grab that myself. And if you make your way over to the weapons vendor, we have yet again another Model 700 Tactical. This one has 161% headshot damage with Harmful, Deadly, and of course Elevated. You could leave it as is, or if you wanted to reroll off Harmful for something like Destructive, Brutal, Prepared, you could go ahead and do that. And once again, have a nice Model 700 Tactical.
Oh well, catch you later.
Okay, over at Dante's Run, anybody running the defense build with your ballistic shield, there is a 7.5% ballistic shield health performance mod. I would go ahead and pick one of these up. If you make your way over to the Autumn's Hope safe house, she has two items for sale here. First up being a specialized backpack, 1193 stamina, over 11,000 health, and a minor attribute of disrupt resistance. Now, this would lean towards more of a starter backpack for new players, or if you're just in desperate need of one, because you could reroll disrupt resistance for ammo capacity and leave it as is, or if you don't mind having a little less ammo, you could either bump up the health number or change the stamina number to a higher number or swap it into a different slot. On top of that, there is a 5.5% first aid self-heal prototype performance mod here, 6% being the max roll. 5.5% isn't too bad, so if you don't have any of these, I would scoop some up and put them on your character.
Good luck.
Up at the Crypt safe house, he has a tactical SASG 12K, 309% stagger with Deadly, Sustained, and Meticulous. Now you could obviously re-roll off Sustained for any other talent that you like, and you would have a pretty good PvE shotgun. You know what, you could actually use this in PvP if you wanted to, but Meticulous, you would have to reroll that up for something else, because you actually can use Sustained and, you know, get some of your health back. But the choice is yours. The shotgun is here.
Don't worry, it happens.
Over at the Firewall safe house, he has a pretty decent prototype stamina mod. 238 stamina, which is a bit on the low side. However, there is 3,159 health on it, and that's why I'm pointing it out and why I recommend that you do pick it up, especially if you don't already have the blueprint.
Sorry, I can't give you a bag for that.
Down at the Madison stand safe house, he has one item for sale here, which is this Relentless backpack. 1225 electronics with stability and ammo capacity. Most definitely what I would do is leave the 1225 electronics, even though it's not the highest number, but it is above 1200. Reroll the major attribute to health, and you have yourself a very, very helpful backpack. Trust me, this works fantastic with builds like Tactician's Authority or any other type of build that you are speccing into skill power. I would grab this.
No big deal.
Okay, making our way into the dark zone now. That is it for the safe houses at West 31st Street. She has a extended magazine with 115.5% magazine size, 3% crit hit chance, and 4.9% rate of fire. Yes, the numbers are by far not the best, but you know what? If you don't have a better one and you don't have a blueprint, I would go ahead and pick one of these up.
Something next time.
Okay, at West 34th Street, one more DZ checkpoint up. She's got a prototype electronics mod, 246 electronics with 3,109 skill power. Once again, if you don't have the blueprint, or even if you do, I would go ahead and pick this up.
Come on, you're killing me.
At the West 42nd Street DZ checkpoint, she has a few items for sale. First up, there's a Navy MP5N here with 20% crit hit chance, determined, predatory, and swift. This would be more of a PvE Navy MP5N. You know, you could either keep determined and reroll off swift, given that that is in the free slot, get something better because predatory is helpful, determined is helpful, so again, you can make use out of this. On top of that, there is, once again, another Relentless backpack for sale this week. $11.99 firearms, over 11,000 health, and then bleed resistance as a minor attribute. Now, you could leave it as is and reroll the minor attribute for ammo capacity, or once again, change up health, bump up that number, or the firearms number, but the choice is yours. Either way, it's a pretty good Relentless backpack if you need one. Finally, a prototype stamina mod with 262 stamina and 3,290 health. By far, one of the best stamina mods I've seen in a while. So, once again, as I always say, if you don't have the blueprint, or even if you do, go ahead and pick this thing up because you never know. You just might need it for 1.7 when things change yet again. Over at the East 40th Street DZ checkpoint, first up, she has an enhanced AUG A3P, 19.5% crit hit chance. Again, not too bad with the crit chance. Responsive, predatory, and meticulous. Now, once again, you could leave this as is. Once again, for PvE, unfortunately, sorry, PvP players. But you know what? Other than that, you could even re-roll off meticulous for something else, like brutal, deadly, destructive, ferocious, whatever you like, and you have a pretty decent enhanced AUG. On top of that, there is a prototype electronics mod, 253 electronics with 3% skill haste. I normally don't point a lot of these out because they drop everywhere, but you know what? It's here. If anybody wants to stack up their skill haste for builds like Tactician, there's one here for sale.
That's fine. Something next time.
At the East 53rd Street DZ checkpoint, she has an extended magazine for sale, 116% mag size, 4% crit hit damage, and 5.4% rate of fire. There are better, considering they can go up to 121%, but if you don't have the blueprint, like I always say, pick these things up. You know what? Get it if you need it. Okay, at the DZ06 safe room, she has a couple of items for sale here. First up is a Banshee mask with 3.5% crit hit chance and disorient resistance on the major attribute, or minor, sorry. 1263 firearms. So what you do is leave the crit hit chance there and reroll the minor attribute, or keep disorient resistance and reroll the major, but either way the firearms number is pretty decent. On top of that, there is a Deadeye go bag with 1162 electronics with over 11,000 skill power and ammo capacity, so you could either reroll the major attribute for something like health, leave the electronics number where it is, or keep the major attribute as is and move the electronics number into something else.
Come on, you're killing me.
If you make your way over to the DZ08 safe room, she has a pretty decent Alphabridge rucksack for sale, 1170 electronics with over 12,000 skill power, and 55% ammo capacity. Once again, you could either reroll off the major attribute for health, leave electronics where it is, or keep that skill power and go ahead and move the electronics number into something else. Either way, it's a pretty decent Alphabridge backpack.
Come on, you're killing me here.
Alright, if you make your way to East 58th Street, up in the higher ends of the DZ08, there it is on the map. He's got a few items for sale here, and first up is a specialized backpack. 1224 electronics with health as a major attribute and bleed resistance as the minor. Reroll off bleed resistance for ammo capacity. You have a great specialized backpack. And on top of that, there is a pair of Savage Gloves, 1210 stamina with crit hit chance, marksman rifle damage, and crit hit damage. Now, you could obviously leave it as is, bump up the crit hit damage if you do like to use marksman rifles, or reroll off the marksman rifle damage for your weapon type of choice. So if you don't have a pair of Savage Gloves, these are here.
I was hoping for a little more consumer confidence.
Okay, and for our final stop of the week up at the DZ09 safe house, this time
What
they
are
do
you
have some
waiting
good
for?
items for sale. So anyways, once again guys, if the video was helpful, I hope that you will drop a like on it. I do appreciate it, and it does help me out quite a bit. If you're new to the channel, once again, I hope you also will consider subscribing for more Division content like this, and obviously much more on the way. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at AfflictedGamer. Stream times are at the end of the video, and here are the final items of the week. First up, Tactician's Authority Vest, 1150 stamina with over 16,000 health, 5% health on kill, and 54% ammo capacity. You could either change the stamina number or re-roll off health on kill for something like skill haste, and you would have a pretty decent Tactician's holster. And on top of that, there are these Tactician Authority Gloves, 1167 electronics. Yes, that is on the low end of the spectrum. Marksman rifle damage, enemy armor damage, and crit hit damage. So you could either leave them as is, or you could bump up the electronics number or move it into a different slot, or leave that number as is and reroll off the marksman rifle damage for your weapon of choice and have a decent pair of PvE Tactician gloves.
You might regret
And
not
then
buying
the
from me.
last item of the week is a pretty decent extended mag down at the mods vendor. Right here, 118.5% mag size with 2.5% crit hit chance and 4% crit hit damage. I know they're not max rolls, but they're pretty good ones, especially if you don't have a blueprint and you're in need of one. This would go perfect on something like the Bullfrog because the thing is a laser beam as is. So anyways guys, those are all of the best items in my opinion for this week in the division. Better than last week, and hopefully next week will even be better than this one. So alright guys, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, get the items that you need for this week, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video.
Hey, get over here before someone notices you.
Stop talking to me like that. Nobody's gonna notice me. Peace out.